Hello everyone and welcome to the Gooner Factory. So Arsenal's fate in the Champions League has been decided. We've been drawn against Porto, so I'll be talking what we can expect from that game when we play them, but also transfer news. We've been linked with more centre midfielders. RAMSDALE has now been linked with a move to Chelsea in January, and Arsenal signed the Real Madrid man. So let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to talk about a Champions League draw yesterday, and if we're being honest, it's a fairly kind draw to Arsenal. We've been drawn a decent team in Porto, but it's definitely a game the Arsenal players and I'm sure Arteta will be looking at and thinking this is probably a team that we should be beating. So if we look at Porto, they're doing fairly good in the Portugal league. They're sitting in third position. They've got some decent players. They've obviously got the goalie that a lot of top teams are being linked with in Diogo Costa. Also Pepe, the centre-back, we know about him. He's 40 years old now, so you would probably think the Arsenal players, especially the attackers, are looking at that and thinking we can be having a field day there, especially someone like Martinelli, who is absolutely rapid. I'm sure if he's left in a one-on-one with him, he would fancy his chances massively. So how did they get on in the Champions League? They finished second in a group with Barcelona. They was level on points, but they come second on goal difference. They did lose to Barcelona home and away though. So this is definitely a team that Arsenal can look at and think, oh wow, I fancy our chances here to progress to the last 8, definitely. But what's good about this is we play the first leg over in Portugal, and then the return leg, the second game, is being played at the Emirates, which is always a massive boost. Because even if you go to Portugal and you get yourself a draw, the second leg at the Emirates is massive. That's why a lot of teams prefer to play the second leg at their home ground, because you know what you need to do, and having that home crowd behind you is massive in a game like that. But we'll be talking a lot more about that fixture for sure as the time comes. The first game we're playing them is in February, so we've still got a bit of time yet. So expect videos on that Porto game a little bit closer to the time. But now if we're looking at some of the other good games from the draws, you'd probably have to say the pick of the bunch is Napoli versus Barcelona. I think that's going to be a very good game. In that one we obviously get to see Victor Osimhen, who Arsenal have been linked with massively. The links are still there, even actually saying that we might go in January to trigger the release clause, which is rumoured to be at about 112 million. But Napoli versus Barcelona, that is a really, really good game. I don't think this Barcelona team is as good as the Barcelona teams of years gone by, so that should be a very interesting game. You're looking at Paris and Real Sociedad as well. People might look at that and automatically assume Paris are going to go through, but Real Sociedad are actually a really good team in Spain, so that could be a game that may actually even cause an upset. You look at Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid as well. That's a game that you would expect to be a good one, and also an interesting one. Dortmund obviously won their group, and PSV came second in our group, and they're playing each other, so that could be a game which could go either way. A lot of people would probably put Dortmund as favourites, and I would probably agree, but I don't think you could count this PSV team out. That we obviously drew with them last time we played them. First time we played them, we beat them fairly comfortable. But if you look at them in the league, they're still unbeaten in the league. So that could be a game where PSV progress to the next round. Man City predictably get a very easy game again, probably the easiest out of the whole bunch. It happens every year, no surprise there. And then Leipzig play Real Madrid. So there's definitely some good games to look forward to in February. And then onto these centre mid links, and we've obviously got the ones with João Paulinho still kicking about, and I think that would be a great deal for Arsenal to do. But a new one that I actually saw today is that Arsenal might be going in for Anana, the centre mid from Everton. And looking at that deal, I wouldn't automatically assume, wow, what a great player. But the more you look into it, the more I guess it does make sense. He's a big, strong, fast, athletic, and he's actually very technical with the ball as well, so he wouldn't be a bad idea to bring him in. I think if you're looking at the league now, that's how it's going. It used to be a lot of small technical players, but over the last 5 or 6 years, there's definitely been a transition, and a lot of managers are opting to bring in these big, athletic, strong players. So you look at Anana, and he definitely fits that profile, so I think that would be a good signing from Arteta. But the signing I didn't like the look of was one to Chelsea, and that is Aaron Ramsdale from Arsenal. I don't know why that link is coming up. I wouldn't be selling Aaron Ramsdale to anybody, let alone Chelsea. I mean, if that happens, that would be criminal in my eyes. I mean, this is a goalkeeper I still think can be Arsenal's #1. But what I think we have to bear in mind is this could also be someone behind the scenes, say Ramsdale's agent, putting it out there just to try and cause or stir up some pressure on Arteta in hopes that the fans make a fuss about it and then they demand Ramsdale be given more opportunities for Arsenal. I mean, you definitely can't rule out the fact that he might want to move. We know the Euros are coming up. I'm sure he's going to want to not only be on that plane, but I'm sure he's going to want to be the #1, and that can't happen while he's #2 at Arsenal. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on in this January transfer window. So now we're going to have a quick word on this scout that Arsenal have signed from Real Madrid, Paulo Xavier. And why is this significant? I think this is really significant because Arsenal, we know, in the last few years have been dipping into the South American market. You think of Marquinhos, and then before that you think of Gabriel Martinelli, who's obviously been a massive one for Arsenal. So to have a scout who is really well versed in all the football in that area, I think is a massive bonus for Arsenal. With Edu being Brazilian, I can see the links and I understand perfectly why Arsenal brought him in. So I look forward to seeing what kind of players we can bring in from in South America. But in terms of Arsenal's week, we're obviously on a countdown now to a massive game at Anfield against Liverpool. I cannot wait for that. We're going to be bringing you loads of content on that, so make sure you're subscribed and you look out for that. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. If you could, hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's one. Gooners, have a good day.